Rockwall Ford is a proud sponsor of Rockwall County Game Day. Shop the rock and score game-changing savings on our all-American lineup of new Fords. Shop our entire inventory online at rockwallford.com or build your truck your way at preordermyf150.com.
But 100% like in our corner.
Very thorough. They cover everything. They're there for you every step of the way.
It was just great. I felt really taken care of.
Hardworking, trustworthy, and very, very effective.
And we are live, and we're live on the Friday night, and the Friday night lights are up, and we are here at Bulldog Stadium in Royce City to open up the season with the Bulldogs. I'm Chris Pena. I'm your host. I'm excited to be here. Rockwall County Game Day. We've done this little show here the past couple of years at Royce City, and as busy as we are, I was like, I'm penciling in these games. We're going to make it happen. And to be quite honest, the schedule, I got really lucky with a lot of different things, moving parts, especially some commitments I have with sponsors and things like that. But I'm here, man. I'm ready to rock. Jason Tanksley, Mr. Don Strother. See, if I was like, if Don, can help me out here, then maybe he's got a seat. Guys, thank you for joining us. Don, welcome to the show. This is your first time out here, and I really appreciate you coming on last minute. I know how nervous you were. You were throwing up back there and all sorts of things. So
game day jitters.
Welcome to the show. We've got a good one tonight. Royce City, they're warming up over here. The Colony, the Cougars are in town to play the Bulldogs, who started their season with a win. It was a 40-20 win. I wasn't there. We'll talk about it a little bit, but I heard it's a little sloppy, but some wins are, and that's what the season's about. And especially early on, you want to learn to correct those mistakes, and that way once you get into this district 10-6A, it's a tough district. There's not much time off in this district. North Forney looks like they're playing well. Mesquite's got athletes. North Forney looks good. We know about Rockwall, and we know about Rockwall Heath. So I mean, there's just teams in this district. But tonight, in about 48 minutes, we will have the kickoff. We'll go till about 6:30, maybe just a little bit past. We'll see if we can get some guests in here to talk. But guys, I'd like to get your thoughts on the Bulldogs this year. From what you know of them, there's new pieces that happens in high school, right? Seniors graduate, but certainly first and foremost at the quarterback position with Oliver. What do you think he's going to bring for the Bulldogs this year?
I think Oliver, from a skill standpoint, is physically he's getting there. Mentally, knowing the game, knowing the system, knowing the offense, the kid's grown up in this offense, for the majority of his life, with his coach being the OC or with his dad being the OC. So he's mentally in the quarterback play, he's there. It's just developing it physically, to where we got spoiled the past 2 years with spring. Right. We really did, because in essence what we had is that we had a quarterback back there that was really another running back.
Yeah, just a straight athlete.
Just an athlete.
Yeah.
And so he can make things happen with his legs. He can make things happen with his arm. He had a lot of weapons around him. So, looking at it, he had a couple of mistakes last week. Is to be expected from a younger quarterback. You grow from it and you move on, and you put that game behind you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what it is. When you're coming in as a junior, you're taking over the offense. You're going to learn from those mistakes. Don, first, tell me about yourself. Do you have a son on the team? What's your affiliation with the Bulldogs here?
I do. My son's name is Chase. He's the starting left guard out here.
Okay.
For the Bulldogs, he's been in Royce City his whole life.
Okay.
Started playing flag football in kindergarten and hadn't missed a beat since. His favorite sport. He's gave up all the other sports and just went straight football his sophomore year. Yeah. So this is last go around, man. It's kind of hard on me.
Yeah, I imagine I've got a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old little girl, a 12-year-old little boy, and so I'm not there yet, but you know I can't imagine those last few years. It was that is he your only son, your only child?
He's my only son.
Okay.
I have a daughter that graduated from Roy City 2 years ago. She goes to Texas Tech.
So you guys are Bulldogs through and through.
Yes, sir.
You're, yeah.
They are.
Well, Faith was a cheerleader for how many years in junior high, high school?
Oh yeah. She cheered all the way
So-
through too, all the Pee Wee leagues and through middle school and high school. So.
Well, let me ask you about your son and that offensive line. That's a big key for this Bulldogs team. I think it's going to be number one important. Health is always important to every team. But you know the offensive line for this team, I think you could argue it's its biggest strength. And when I say big, I mean it's big because there's some big dudes on that offensive line. You know, can you just talk about this offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, I think the offensive line is probably like you said, their biggest, their strongest point. They run behind them. They clear out lanes for them. Now this is Chase's my son's first year to play offensive line since seventh grade.
Eighth grade.
Seventh
Wow.
grade. He went in 8th grade. He went to tight end, and then just a little history on him more. But he went to tight end, and then 9th grade he was tight end, and then 10th grade he was tight end and middle linebacker. Last year, first year on varsity, they moved him to defensive end, but with the injury to Harrison and a couple of the other guys last year,
You got opportunities.
he got moved over to offense and backed up last year on the offense, and then this year he earned that starting left guard spot. But man, he's right next to Harrison. He's right next to Logan. You got Bass over there, and what's the right guard's name? My mind just went blank. For a right guard, but I mean those guys are huge. Chase is 220 pounds.
Yeah,
and he's small.
And he's small, but he's the second strongest kid
Right.
behind
Strother,
Logan on the
Thomas,
team, so.
Hayes, Logan, and Bass are some guys on that line, and then Herndon.
Yeah, Herndon.
Mr. Herndon. I'm going to make him watch this. Mr. Herndon. I'm going to say it over and over. Hey, Don. On this show, you talk about your son as much as you want because that's what it's all about. The experience for you and all that stuff. So I will not hear enough about your son. So trust me.
Obviously, that's who I focus on every game. So.
Well, I'll talk about Chase, and you talk about Hayden because I don't like my kids for the most part. So I'll tell you. No, I'm just kidding. So, but no, this offensive line is big.
Yeah.
It's big, it's physical, but it's been that way for the past couple years.
Right.
It really has. And so last year we were fortunate in the fact that we had a strong offensive line. You had Sam that was in the backfield. You had Spring that was in the backfield. I mean, we had a lot of tools, a lot of weapons. But this line, in my opinion, is probably better this year than what it was last year.
They're all seniors across.
Right.
So,
And Don and I have had the fortune that we've gotten to coach a lot of these kids ever since they were 4th, 5th grade, all the way up through their Pee Wee experience. And so knowing these kids, seeing them out there, seeing them succeed, play together, man, it just thrills us to death just to see these kids go out there.
Well, and yeah, I mean, it has to be. I mean, to see them grow up like that, and then to have these seniors lead, they've got some really good leadership on that offensive line, and that's key, especially when you're talking about bringing in maybe everybody's seniors, that I can look at, except for I don't see an underclassman on that offensive line that's starting.
Not on the offensive line.
Yeah, and even the tight end Herndon. I mean, he's and he's part of the running game as well. The running backs. Okay, so we go from Champ and then we go to talk about who they have now because I don't know much about him. I don't even know that I could pronounce his name correctly. But tell me about is it Croft?
Yeah. So Tariq.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
I mean, and I don't know if he's a junior. I'm looking at stats. He had 104 yards in that first game.
He's good. He's very shifty. He's nothing like what we experienced last year.
No, he's not Sam.
Right.
He's not the size.
But not yet.
Yeah,
he reminds me a lot and has the potential to play a lot like what Champ used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To where he's quick off the ball, he's shifty, he's got that extra gear when he gets an open field. You see him, he can get separation.
Right.
And so it's just giving giving him time just as a junior to mature in this system, play behind this big line, take advantage of it, and go out there and do work.
Yeah, I was trying to look at to see on the rushing who he got the majority of the carries, 16 carries, and then you got Anderson that had 6 carries for 50 yards. Is also a junior, and then of course Oliver, the quarterback, he had a few scrambles for 32 yards. Defensively, something that if you're looking at this roster and you're like, hey, where's that Weaver kid? And he was a heck of a tight end, and he was a physical guy. And we had him on the show this past Wednesday, and when he had an opportunity to switch the defense and hit somebody, he was excited about it. And he's got to be a leader that you look for on this defense,
without a doubt. And so
for sure.
Nicholas is a great kid.
Yeah.
Great kid. And, he had the ability whenever they were freshmen. He played offense and defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the need, you have somebody like Herndon that can step in and fill that role at the tight end spot. And you have that need.
And he's doing that well.
Right. Yeah, and Herndon's playing great tight end.
Yeah.
And then, one of the things, too, is that you lose a key defensive player in Watkins, not, just focusing on baseball. So you have to have somebody step over there and fill that role. And Weaver stepped in and has done a great job doing it.
Yeah. We're here live at Bulldog Stadium in Royce City. This is their home opener. They're hosting the Colony Cougars, who are in town, and we're going to talk about them in a few minutes. Not just yet. But we're at about 40 minutes till kickoff. We're going to go till for about another 15 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer if we round up a guest or not. People get tired of hearing us talk, but. Let's this team overall. What's your takeaways from what you've seen in the first game this year, Don?
So defensively is probably where I'm most concerned. I think offensively we talked about that. It's really strong. They're going to score. Defensively, they gave up some plays that concerned me last week. I'm not going to lie about that. They did okay. They got a few turnovers and looked spectacular in a few of them, but then boy, they gave up some that they probably shouldn't have gave up.
Yeah, I mean, and the defense giving up some plays that they probably should have.
Well, it's the plays I'm talking about and stuff like that. The secondary, the line seems to be doing okay from in the first game anyway. Secondary was hit and miss, I guess is where I'm going with that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look down the roster. I see a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors.
Yeah, they're very young.
So. When you have a roster like that, I mean, I think I've never been a coach, but I can pretend to be a coach. But I got to think that there's a little bit of learning curve there. They have to. That's when they're going to have to really rely and lean on Weaver to be a leader on that defense, to coach up these younger kids, especially when mistakes are made.
Absolutely.
Mistakes will be made. It's how you respond to them. It's how you learn from them, and it's how you listen to your senior leaders like Weaver on the defensive side of the ball. The success that this team had coming into 6A last year, and then just really overall the athletic department, how they had success and competed in 6A. It's no longer about 6A anymore. Now they're here just to line up and play. I'm curious to get your thoughts, just kind of where you see this program at right now, and the future of Bulldog, and how exciting it is to be a part of all this that's going on. I'll say yeah.
Okay, so as far as the growth and everything, I think that it's going to bode well for Royce City. Of course, we're going to have more move in. That means more kids, more talent pool. So you're going to see the talent pool grow. I'll be honest with you, my concern is going to be coming in the near future whenever they build that second high school out here. Is that how much is that going to affect the growth in Royce? Right. And to kind of with that, is that, okay, how much is that going to affect in an area to where it's going to pull from Royce City, it's going to pull from Rockwall? How much is that going to affect overall?
Well, yeah, in Rockwall and Rockwall Heath, they've got those 9th grade centers that will be opening up in 2025, and the plan for those is to have another high school.
Right.
So I'm going to be really interested to see, my kids go to Rockwall, they're in Rockwall ISD. I'm really interested to see, do they keep the numbers, high enough, to maintain 3 schools in 6A, or do they have to drop down for a little while into 5A? I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of talented kids in this area, and they're going to play good football no matter where. They're going to be competitive in athletics no matter what. Right. So I think the future of Royce City athletics, it looks very promising. Coach Petrov and this staff, let's chat about them before we get into the Colony.
Oh, so you're trying to get us in trouble right off the bat?
No, when they know how to win. They keep making the playoffs. It's just something that's built into them. Just you guys being around Royce City and these coaches and growing up with these kids. What's kind of impressed you about this coaching staff?
The stability. To me, it's just you see a core group here, and the core group hasn't changed in all the time that we've been out here.
Not that we've been here.
Right. And I can remember that whenever our kids were in elementary school and they're playing on Saturday nights, and you look up and you see Coach Petroff, you see Coach Oliver, you see all these high school coaches over there at the junior high field watching these kids play on a Saturday whenever they're in elementary school. Yep. And so the community itself is very, very behind each other. And so I think that bodes well just for the community right there.
You, both of you do, but Don, you got a inside track here with your son. He comes home. Just, what's he enjoyed? Just from what you can tell about playing for Coach Petroff and the staff.
Well, the thing he enjoys most this year is, I think Coach Davis is doing a good job over on that O-line. He's taking care of them. He gets on them when he needs to, obviously, but he's there. He's in their corner and. Chasing them boys. I come to the practices probably about once a week, and they work hard. I mean, it's not just the old line. The whole team works hard. Man, it's 120 degrees down here on the field. Yeah. It feels like.
And we got some shade right now.
Yeah,
now it's feeling good right now. I'm in heaven.
Yeah, but you see the coaches standing out here in that with them, the kids fighting through that, and man, it's all about the camaraderie with that old line. All of them are friends. You see them giving each other a hard time, which is what boys do.
Right.
I mean, we still do that as grown men.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see them cutting up, they're enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah, we are live here in Royce City at Bulldog Stadium as the Bulldogs are finishing up some warm-ups. We got about 34 minutes till kickoff. The Colony, the Cougars, they're down there warming up. The Cougars come in here 0-1. They drop a game to Red Oak, 19-16. And so obviously, they want to get back into the win column. It won't be an easy task, coming in on the road, especially what we just talked about, a solid coaching staff. We haven't even talked about Williams, the wide receiver. They've got some solid pieces.
Oh, absolutely.
And if they figure out how to get in rhythm offensively, and then the defense can mature over the season, and that's really what you want to see over these few games is the defense mature heading into it. This could be a good team. The Cougars looks like their quarterback yards last week. I'm trying to see if there's any. It looks like they run 3 running backs. They've got Gibson, Cox, and McClendon. All 3 of them 55 yards, 56 yards, 69 yards. And all of them had about 12, 13 carries, 12 carries, 17 carries.
They run heavy, and they'll sneak that pass in on you. I think that's how they scored at least one of their touchdowns, maybe 2 of them last week.
This team, and I haven't researched the Colony too much, but it just feels like this is the game at home that you want to make sure you win as the Bulldogs. But if you have any doubts about how fired up they are, I think we're going to find out right at the beginning, and I think that's a big thing. It's always been for Royce City since I've been in. It's how fast they start. If they get off to a quick start, they're going to be really hard to beat, and a lot of that is because they've had those big offensive lines that they can start wearing you down with the pass. But you guys just with this team, how it's built, do you see it going the same way?
Yeah, I mean they're going to score early and they're going to score often. And then they're going to depend upon that big the big offensive line to just lean on the defense, and just sustain drives, just wear them out. Especially right now, this time of year, you've got it's hot down here on the field. So the longer you can keep that defense on the field, the more they're going to get wore out, and then it's going to open up big plays.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the key thing, is putting together the pieces, using that big offensive line, leaning on them, sustaining drives, working the ball downfield.
Fast start's definitely key. You could see it last week when we started with Grand Prairie. A minute and a half ran off the clock last week in the first quarter, and then a piece of the turf comes up, and we have a 45-minute delay. But Royce City already hit them with a touchdown. They came out fine, and that delay, you could see it had a little effect on them. It took them a little bit to get back into that and get moving again.
Yeah, I think momentum's obviously everything, but when especially I think teams like Rockwall, they can overcome a slow start. they can they've got a lot of maturity, a lot of leaders that have been doing it a while. That they're primed to win. They can. But when you have a team, a younger team, and especially defensively, you want to make sure that you get off to that fast start and not try to have to figure it out the rest of the game. We're live here at Bulldog Stadium in Royce City. It's turned into a beautiful night. The shade is kicking
Finally
in.
got some shade.
Yeah, we have about 30 minutes to kick off, and then we'll bow out soon enough. You guys are going to call the game?
We're going to call the
Yes,
game.
sir.
now.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna come up there and join you for a little while too.
I'm gonna go ahead and apologize
Yeah.
to anybody that's gonna be watching the game. I'm sorry. You're
This
gonna have to listen to us again.
First time doing that too, so don't hold it against me, Grandpa.
Well, I mean, can we do any worse than Brandon Neighbors does?
Brandon
It took
is
me
a
how
trip.
we've been on 23 minutes and it took me that long to bring up Brandon Neighbors' name, and he was probably waiting like how soon do they say my name?
Yeah, and so it's one of those. He's got a check mark now.
Yeah, he's got a check mark. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with some final thoughts, and then we're going to let you guys get up there, and then I'm going to kind of tidy up, get settled for kickoff because I want to see what these Bulldogs are all about. So don't you guys don't go anywhere. I promise you, we're going to be right back. Thanks for tuning in. We've had quite a few tune in already, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Rockwall Ford is a proud sponsor of Rockwall County Game Day. Shop the Rock and score game-changing savings on our all-American lineup of new Fords. Shop our entire inventory online at rockwallford.com or build your truck your way at preordermyf150.com.
But 100% like in our corner.
Very thorough. They cover everything. They're there for you every step of the way.
It was just great. I felt really taken care of.
Hardworking, trustworthy, and very, very effective.
I'm a one. I'm a one. I'm a one-to-one. I could never be you. Little me tools, no, I can't be fooled. Little me tools, no, I hate these dudes. I'm a one-to-one. I could never be you. Anything you could do, I could do better. I can do better than you. Anything you could do, I can do better. I can do better than you. Drop my first single like, oh, he rap. You thought it was a drought, that's cap. I get the front and I get the back. Lil Uzi the facts like that's a rack. Bought some new boots just to wear 'em out. Bought a new Beamer, I run it to the ground. I used to say nothing, I bet they hear me now. Handle my business, no need to hear me out. Talking too much, say less. If it's less than a check, say less. If you can say it best, say less. I'm taking all best, say less.
We are. We're
I did.
Jason almost took a spill live on. I don't have insurance, Jason, so
It's okay. I'd blame it on Dawn. Dawn
yeah.
tripping me on purpose.
We're back. This segment's brought to you by M&D Real Estate. Danny Perez, Misty Perez. They're our newest sponsor. We brought them on this week, and we had some really exciting news. M&D Real Estate is going to be the presenting sponsor for the Jackson Smith and Jigba Award. We're blessed to be able to partner with Jackson and his family and help him give back to the community. Of course, Jackson, if you're Royce City and you don't know who Jackson Smith and Jigba is, big time Rockwall wide receiver, one-time 4-star, 5-star, Gatorade Player of the Year, goes on to Ohio State, makes some ridiculous catches. Now he's gets drafted in the first round by the Seattle Seahawks, and
he's still making ridiculous catches.
Yeah, we can't. I text him, thanking him for. We just did a fundraiser for a autographed helmet that he did for Rockwall, and we raised like over $2,000, and I said thank you. I said, hey, can you take it easy against the Cowboys? Maybe under 200 yards, no more than 2 touchdowns. That'd be a solid game, but I can't thank them enough. And of course, the inaugural award winner last year was Sam Mitchum from Royce City. Really cool to see a Bulldog win it the first year, and it's going to be really exciting to see who steps into the spotlight this year for to start being in the running for that award. Which we'll start talking about individual players and stuff like that for the award after this week. Before we go, it's youth night. There's a lot of kids lining up over there. We got about 26 minutes to kick off. We're just going to go for a few more minutes tonight, and then we're gonna bow out so that everybody can pay attention to what's going on with the kids. I want to say really quickly, you follow in the district at all? North Forney,
Yep.
they're 2-0.
Yeah.
Coach Luster has got that team believing in themselves, and people gave them credit for last year. People didn't think they'd win that many games, and they were there. Here they are already 2-0 on the season. And that's really, how they want to start. The quarterback looks to be like a big key for them. So North Forney, the Bulldogs they know them well. They came into 6A together. But does it surprise you at all to see North Forney having some success?
No, not at all. So I've got a younger one that's a freshman this year, and so watching him in junior high last year, seeing some of the schools they played from coming up, and they had North Forney had a young team last year, and they moved up a lot of younger kids up to the varsity level. But they're a solid team. They really are. They're going to come out. And I think they're going to shock a lot of people this year. But because they're a lot different than what we faced last year.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Coach Luster. I've watched them. Been out to a few practices and last year, and I love how he interacts with the kids. So we'll see what happens at North Forney. Rockwall, they looked impressive. They were ready to go game one, and they're gonna do some damage tonight as well. So Rockwall, they just for them Rockwall, it's about taking the next step in the playoffs.
Sure.
That's what it is for Rockwall. The Horn looks good.
Horn looks good. Horn's just repeating what they did last year.
Yeah.
Horn was impressive last year.
Yeah.
And they shocked everybody last year with the amount of talent that they had, and I think they're probably more talented this year. And so they're going to be.
Didn't they beat Roy City last year?
Oh yeah. That was our last game of the season last year.
The game didn't matter for Roy City.
Right.
Right.
They weren't trying to lose it.
No, but we played them at Horn last year, and they put it on us pretty bad.
Yeah. You got Horn. Mesquite takes a loss. We'll see. We'll still a lot to learn about Mesquite and what they're going to bring out. They have athletes, but we'll see. We'll see what they're going to bring to the table. Rockwall Heath is they're going to be the question, right? It's they got Coach Webb, who Roy City people know in this area, and he was the right guy to come in there for that job. That team's going to be fine. I think they're going to be a good team. They've got to give Caleb Hoover some time to get back from the baseball world, because he spent a lot of time playing baseball and up until like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So it's going to take them a little bit. I think when district play rolls around, they're going to be one of the teams that's ready to go. So it's youth night here at Bulldog Stadium. We got 23 minutes to kick off. It's opening night. The Colony, the Cougars are in town. They're 0-1, looking for the win. Bulldogs, they are 1-0, looking to start the season 2-0. And that's going to do it for us, guys. We made it through a pregame show. We're going to have a halftime show. We will have a halftime show. Make sure you let people know. We're gonna talk about some things that we saw during that first half, and we might have to get critical. I don't know. It could be our last time ever being asked back to Roy City. We're gonna point out all the positives for sure. So you guys enjoy the game. It'll be on NFHS. These two gentlemen will be calling the game. I'm gonna pop in there and heckle them a little bit and see if we can't get in trouble up there. But enjoy the game. We will see you guys at halftime. Thanks for tuning in. Go Bulldogs.
All right, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.